back, baby. Episode 2. We're staying consistent with it. Second week, we're bringing back the whiteboard. So the 5K time trial did not go to plan. The sub 20 dream is in fact not alive for the moment because I just realized the heat is gonna be a lot bigger factor than I initially thought. Even for a 5K, like I did 21:01 for the 5K, and this was paced horribly. I really thought that I'm not fit straight after doing this, as you can see from the instant reaction after the TT attempt. This place is so flat. Right before my 5K TT, got my vest from China. Shoes from China, I don't think you can see, but I'm wearing the leading Feidian 5C Challenger. I'm not gonna bring my phone for this so I can lock in. So hopefully it goes well. See you right after. Boom! So 5K time trial done in the leading Challenger 5. Pretty good shoes. Although I feel like it's a tad aggressive. It might be just because I haven't been running in carbon plated shoes in a while. I thought it was fit enough to go sub 20, but I think it's 21 flat. That's where I'm at. Man, the 5K is humbling because I've been doing a lot of sub threshold work, and there's really no substitute for that VO2 effort. Like I was thinking about quitting after like 2K. I thought I was fitter than I am right now. But yeah, back to the training. I'm running around the stadium. I used to run track, and this is where we did our competitions. I used to be a sprinter, and yeah, that's a lot shorter distance than a 5K. And yeah, I wasn't that good. We did a 4x100 and we won the district competition, but I was carried hard. Yeah, it's nice to be back here suffering, but in a different way. I do think that the suffering of long distance is more bearable than that 400 meter type of feeling. Oh, that sucks. I'm gonna do more VO2 max. I think I wanna do more hill sprints next time. But after asking Claude says that this actually converts to a 1930 to 1950. So am I claiming this? Am I claiming this as a sub 20? Nah, we're not doing that. But for the sake of training, I will be using about like 20 minutes for the 5K as a like rough gauge for sub threshold. So there's like online calculators, I'll leave in the description, that when you put in a time trial or a race time, it'll extrapolate what your training paces should be. I want to use 20 minutes and 21 minutes for the outdoor workouts, which I sometimes do. Anyways, this conversion is about like 4 to 5%. So as the further you go in terms of race distance, so the 5K will be 21 minutes, so 21K, the half marathon. The goal was 129, so 129. So you need to be in 121 shape in ideal conditions to run a 129 half marathon. Yeah, that's what this means. So I need to be in 121 shape, which is, well, it's fitter than I've ever been. So in 5 to 6 months, this is gonna be the goal. I think we're still on the right track. I do think that I'm around this shape in ideal conditions. So now it's all about dialing it in, ramping up the mileage. This week will be a down week. I'm up to like 28K for this week. You know, I was initially disappointed in the 5K 2 days ago, but now after thinking about it more, I think it wasn't that bad of a performance. Obviously, execution-wise, it was pretty bad. Like I went off at sub 20 pace. I went off at 3:53 per K for the first K, and it was a steady decline into like maybe half marathon pace. So execution wise I could have done better, but in my head it was sub 20 or bust. So yeah, we paid the price. If I executed it a bit better, it would have been closer to 20:30, which is a good sign because my PB for 5K was like just 20 flat, and that's in perfect conditions. So I think I'm in and around the best shape in my life at a lower mileage. So I think if I just ramp up the mileage at this point, I'm gonna be in good shape for a PB. Although the goal of a 129, sub 129, because that's my PB, I'm sweating with the dog. The goal of a sub 129 PB is a bit more ambitious than I thought it would be, because the equivalent of 129 in Malaysia, so it's about like 6% to 7%, that keeps coming up, 6 to 7%, I mean worse off. So for example, 129, Claude told me it was about 121, 122 equivalent in ideal conditions. And that's going to be a reach in 5-6 months, but we'll see how the training goes. I do think I'm pretty well adapted to the heat now. As you can see, I'm sweating a lot, which I think is a sign apparently. that you're heat adapted. My perspective on things have changed a bit because a 5K sub 20 in Malaysia would apparently an 18:30 5K. I'm still gonna stick to the plan of doing my sessions on a treadmill and heat adaptation outdoors is through the easy runs and the long run. I think it's gotten me to a really good place in terms of fitness. So the 2101 is actually a good sign. I will be doing another 5K time trial in 2 weeks. And yeah, aiming for that 2030, going off a bit more conservatively, knowing that sub 20 is probably not realistic right now. One thing to note is that my plantar was really hurting after that 5K on the warm-up. The leaning challenger it was pretty rough in my experience so far. I don't know if it's about something to do with the shoe or the carbon plate or the width, but yeah, something about the shoes really aggravates my feet. I'm gonna keep on doing more strength training for my plantar. I brought my bands with me on this trip, so I'm gonna do some toe work, and yeah, I think I'm gonna keep using those shoes and see if I can get used to it. That's where we're at. An easy run today, easy run tomorrow, and should be about 40 Ks for the week. So we're up to 28K. I'm gonna do a long run later today. I was supposed to do a long run this morning, but we're gonna do it at night instead. I'm gonna end the week at 40K, and that's where we're at. Something I'm trying to care about less is listening to heart rate on easy runs. Yeah, it's a useful generally to see, okay, over the months, is my heart rate trending down for easy runs? But all the formulas, like 70% of max heart rate, I think that all is thrown out the window once you factor in heat. So as long as your RP is in check, and you're conversational like I am right now, it doesn't really matter. For easy runs, although the conversation is a bit choppy, but I think the RP is in the right place, like 3 to 4. So yeah, we're on the long run now. Trying this new route. It's pretty good so far. I mean, the cars sometimes they come back really fast, but nothing too bad. Probably gonna come here again. Next week, we're gonna ramp up the mileage to 60K a week. Then the week after that, we're gonna do another 5K TT attempt. So about the approach to dealing with heat, I will be keeping up what I'm currently doing. It's gotten me to this point in 5K 21 minutes in Malaysian heat, which actually I'm pretty happy with that. If you believe Claude or these temperature adjustments, this is about where I peaked last time, and I was running a lot more mileage that time. So now if I just increase the mileage, I do think that sub 20 will be realistic in a few months. So I will be doing more 5K TT attempts, and it's actually nice to just scrape up on that upper limit of fitness, like the VO2 max. I was sort of missing that in my training, and this is exactly the motivation that I need. And yeah, that's where we're at. Now I will also be including threshold and sub-threshold work outdoors every now and then, but the bulk of the work will be done on the treadmill just to get that nice clean stimulus without heat. That should push up my fitness so that the baseline is higher, so that when I do harder sessions outdoors or races, I'm taking off less than if I just train that with heat. So I think this is the right strategy. We're still going strong, I think. I'm pretty sure that I can cut that down to 20, maybe 2030 if I paced it right at the same fitness. So in 2 weeks I will be doing that. I went off at 353, so not smart. But in my head I was like sub 20 or nothing, because this doesn't mean much anyways. I'm not really sad with that honestly, because it doesn't, I don't think it's representative of my fitness, and it came out to roughly my half marathon pace for my PB. Anyways, 2030 in 2 weeks will be the goal. I'm gonna pace it more conservatively, and thank you for watching.